I want to spend some time talking to you about a couple of different things that we're going to be doing over the next several months in class together. One of the things that we've already started doing is journaling. We've been writing about ourselves. I've been learning about you as an individual and as a math student. What do you like? What do you not like? How do you feel about math? All sorts of things. We've also talked a little bit about, in our writing, about studying and how we feel about the quiz and what's been helpful and what's been not helpful, making plans, all sorts of things. What I want to do now is spend a little bit of time explaining why I'm having us do journaling, right? So follow with me as we look at my screen together here. So the first thing that I did was I just jumped into Google and typed in journaling, right? Journaling, what comes up? Well, it's essentially saying that it's this ancient tradition, and it started potentially even in Japan in the 10th century, which is pretty cool that we're plugging into something that's been done over and over and over, right? And then I found up here, just in scrolling through, I found some interesting ideas and takes on journaling and how it could change your life, right? So if you're writing down different things, you might really start to notice trends and patterns, things that you weren't even cueing into before you started writing things down. It's one of the reasons that we're writing in class. And I have some other links here, health benefits of journaling, right? So we can use writing as a mechanism for exploring many different aspects of our life. Right now, we're going to be using it specifically to learn how can we be better students and specifically better math students. So what I propose is that we start calling our journals metacognitive journals. And here's the definition of metacognition, right? Google pops up, it gives us the breakdown of each of the syllables, metacognition, right? And then underneath, it gives us how to pronounce, right? And this is a term that comes from psychology. It's the awareness and understanding of one's own thought processes, okay? So what's really cool is it's got this prefix, meta, and then the root of the word, cognition. Cognition means to think. And the prefix meta refers back to the root, right? So metacognition, to think about thinking, okay? It's pretty cool, this prefix. All right, so as we're writing, we're going to start thinking about our thoughts, right? We're going to look at, okay, well, how do I feel about math? How am I solving this problem? What thought process am I going through in order to solve a problem? Now, one of the things, again, that my Google search popped up with is different metacognitive skills and how metacognition itself can help us and how do we develop the ability to think about our thinking, right? So one of the ways to think about this is before we start something, we're going to plan it, right? So I've asked you to plan out your studying. What is it going to look like? While you're doing it, while you're studying, you're keeping track of what tasks you're completing. Am I solving 10 problems? How are they going? Am I checking my answers? And then at the end, I'm going to think back. Did I complete my plan? How did everything go? Did I use enough time? Did I take more time than I thought? Right? Are my answers right or not right? So I'm going to start thinking about planning, then monitoring, looking at my work, and then wrapping it all back up and saying, how did I do? Okay? And that's what we're going to be doing with these journals. We've already started the process. Okay, so now I'm on our Google Classroom page. And you may have noticed a few days ago that I posted, let's scroll down the stream here. I posted metacognitive journals as a process grade. Okay, and so I'm just going to open this here and see what happens. Let's see what's written. All right, so far, nothing that you've written has been for a grade. The most recent journal, journal entry 4, I'm going to use this rubric and give you and let you know what you would have gotten had it been graded, right? I'm going to give you some feedback. That way we can talk about it and you can see specifically what my expectations will be around this graded assignment. Okay, so we just talked a little bit about what journaling can be good for in general and the reason that we're journaling. Then we talked a little bit about the word metacognition, right? So the name of this journal, Metacognitive Journal. A journal, a series of writings that helps us think about our thinking, specifically in math, right? So there's a little description here of what's going on. Now, underneath is a rubric. And you may have worked with rubrics before, or you may not have. And so I'm going to spend some time just explaining to you how a rubric works. Essentially, what we have is I'm looking for 3 different things in your journal. First is, did you turn it in on time, right? If you turn it in on time, you get a 3. If you turn it in the same day that it's due, by the end of that school day, right? So not by class, but by the end of the day, you get a 2. And then anytime after that, when you turn it in, it's a 1, right? Then the real meat, the real purpose is going to come out of these 2 points, right? I labeled them criterion, okay? So the first one is I'm really looking for introspection. Spect means to look, intro means inside. So I'm going to ask you really to look inside yourself. And I'm going to start thinking about how well are you thinking about yourself? How well are you expressing? And are you really wanting to dig into some of the questions that I'm asking you, right? So in order to give a 5, what I want you to show is that you're being honest and genuine and you're grappling with, you're really trying to think about the questions that I give you. Also, what I'm looking for is that you really want to grow through this process, okay? You want to get better at math, you want to be a better student, and I want this to show in your writing. One of the ways that you might be able to do this is to look back at previous journal assignments and reference where you were, right? Where was I a week ago? Have I grown? Have I gone backwards a little bit? That happens in life sometimes too. So where am I looking right now at this moment? Right? Referencing back and looking forward. What is my plan for growth? Okay? So underneath each of these numbers that will be assigned as part of your grade, there's a little bit of a description of what I'm looking for, right? And this will become more comfortable as you try it out, which is why I'm taking one of your journal assignments, applying this rubric so that you have a basis for asking questions. Okay. The next thing that I'm looking for is clarity of presentation. So this is kind of what is your writing communicating, right? A 5 is going to be that you answered, you addressed all of the questions. And it doesn't have to be that you have one question, one answer, one question, one answer. Some of you are writing some beautiful narratives, a whole paragraph. And in the course of the paragraph, you're answering all of the questions, right? So one of the things that you can check is, did I address each question that's in the prompt? Also, I'm not looking for you to write a dissertation, right? This doesn't have to be pages and pages. It can be clear and concise, and you can think deeply, but not write a whole lot of words, okay? So clear, concise, all questions answered, right? So each of these assignments is out of a 13 total, okay? And each of your journal grades is going to go into your process category. The idea being that process is really a place where we store information about your growth throughout class. So this journal is going to track that growth, your opinions on your growth, your perspective. It's going to track the conversations that you and I are having. And so I really feel like this is a wonderful way for us to get better, me as a teacher and you as a student. I'm excited to talk to you more about this in class next week and also throughout the year. Have a wonderful weekend.